Alright, here we go. We are playing 2 5 cent no limit here, and we're playing a double up turbo tournament here. We made a little move from the button and got min raised. We will definitely see a flop here. So, like I said, we're going to start playing more tournaments and less cash games. We still think our ace high is good here. We're not folding very often. He's going to have to bet a lot more than that to get us to fold. Yep, we still think we're good. And we still think we're good. Yep, especially when he checks. So we'll just make sure he folds here. So we're basically, like I said before, I use cash games to grind buy-ins to tournaments, and that's kind of my strategy for playing poker online. I do like grinding, but I mean, cash games are just a real grind in my mind. Like tournaments, there's a little bit more strategy, I think, in MTTs, and even just sit and goes. Then I think cash games. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying cash games don't require strategy. They require a great amount of strategy, but there's a little bit. It's a little bit easier to see the results of good strong play in tournaments. When you cash in a big MTT, it just feels great, compared to in cash games. You grind for a week and then you look at your profits at the end of the week and you say, oh yeah, I was making 12 big blinds an hour for how many hours a week? Yeah, great. So, I don't use online poker as any like insane source of income or anything. I don't use it as my job. It's not anything I do. I just use it to kind of keep my skills sharp. So, um, you know, it's just a way of playing poker. Anyway, so we're gonna start migrating more and more into tournaments, and once I start playing, oh nice full housey. Once we start, once I've made a withdrawal or two from Ignition, and I know that I can trust this new Ignition over Bovada and everything, then I will start putting more money in, and we'll start playing some bigger stakes and start playing some 1-2 in the cash games, and we can play some bigger MTTs over here. But for right now, this is where we're at. I was gonna stream tonight, but I didn't get around to it, so I'm just doing a recording for the YouTube channel. I didn't really see. I'm pretty much only gonna stream MTTs. I think. I don't think I'm gonna stream just playing live cash games. It's just not really what I want to be streaming. So I might. I don't really know yet. But if I find a good MTT, I will definitely stream it on my Twitch channel. Which, for those of you watching, wow, another full house. That's hard to do in this game. So for those of you watching this channel, my Twitch channel is the same name, and if you follow me on there, you'll see when I'm online. The last time I streamed poker, I did an MTT, and I think I said before, I got like 17th or something. It was a good long run, a good few hours of good play. So I will definitely be doing that again. I just have to find time to do it in between homework and my job and everything else. So roll with the punches. So anyway, for those that don't know, this is a double up tournament, which means all you have to do is survive, right? It's kind of like how satellites work. So a double up is whatever you buy in for. If you end up in first, second, or third, you will double your money, minus the fee, for them running the tournament. Obviously, they don't pay out 100%. And then there's also triple ups, which are 9-handed. And again, you have to be first, second, or third, and you will triple your money regardless of your chip stack. So it does reward type play a bit more. It doesn't mean you can be a complete nit. I mean, when it gets short-handed, like really short-handed, you will be blinded out, especially turbos. That's an easy fold though. But you definitely want to pick your spots in this game. You know, you have your chips have a lot more equity in this game because it doesn't matter if you have 4,000 when it doesn't matter if you have 5,000 when you get to the final three, or if you have 30 chips when you get to the final three. If you are in the final three, you get paid. So you don't have to build the big stack when you get three-handed. It doesn't matter. So you can make sometimes you can make some easier equity folds and just look at it and say, hey, look, I don't actually need to build the huge chip stack right now. It certainly helps. You know, it certainly helps to build up a huge chip stack early on, but I used to play these a lot. I thought so. I ended up my ROI was better on MTTs than it was on these. I used to grind these a decent amount. I still think they're fun, and I still think they're worth talking about and playing on my channel here. But they're definitely not my preferred game. So this is kind of interesting to see what happens here. These aren't exactly large bets, so let's see what comes of it. My guess here is that this is the one with the monster. So, you know, could be aces, kings, or queens. Oh yeah, especially with a bet of only 232, I feel like this guy's super strong here. We're kind of early, so we have to go a little bit harder. Tens are obviously a great hand, but early position, we don't exactly want to be enticing too many people to call us, so we got to go a little bit bigger. We can't just bet 20 cents and hope that it rolls. The blinds are not worth considering stealing in any way, shape, or form at this point, especially not with 5-6 offsuit. So, well, Fiver McFiverson appears just on Tankville. There you go. You found the fold button. Sometimes it's hard to find the fold button when you're buried in tabs of porn. Alright, so we obviously love that flop. That looks delicious. Oh, that would have been nice to have seen that flop. Especially if we had, you know, tried to push people off, but you can't base your decision on seeing the flop. If it was correct pre-flop, it's still correct regardless of the flop. That's what you have to remember in poker. You have to remember a lot of things in poker. But results-oriented thinking is a dangerous thought process to make. We're not in a tournament. We don't need to be thinking about, oh, is he making a move on the button? Should we be raising back? Blah, blah, blah. No, it's 5 cents. Congratulations. Well played. There's easily a chance that he has a smashed. Well, he's almost certainly has a smash, but there's easily a chance he has a hand that can call if we re-raise, and then we're just in an inflated pot with absolute trash and trying to play air. This is not a tournament. This is not, oh, is he making a move from the button? I should fire back, and, you know, in this hand here. Not one of those spots. Tournament play is very different from cash play. It really is. If anything, I would say that. Oh wait, hold on. I want to see what's going on here before I. Sometimes when I start going on these rants, it's like, man, I'm gonna start talking about a subject in poker, and then. But that means I'm not paying as close attention as I want to when something like this goes down. Because look at this board. This is a really weird board. Okay. All right. All right. So, what a hand. So when you're playing these double up and triple ups, you got to look at the short stacks. Um, and there are spots where if somebody, so let's say this guy only has 250, right? What you'll see is he'll shove, and then me, him, and this guy will like all just call. We won't raise. We're not trying to isolate. We want to push him off the pot. So if he only has 250, if you're at a good table and with smart opponents, they'll realize that hey, the more people that call, the more likely that somebody beats him, and we just put him out of the game. So you have to be aware of that. You have to see who's really short stacked right now, and can we help our other players get someone pushed off the table. So if it's the first person off the table, you don't really want to do it too wide because now whoever does win that hand, you're giving them 3 times the chips. Oh, nice. Well, there we go. So he's back in the game. Now this guy is short stacked again. So you don't exactly want to be just puffing one dude up in the same amount of chips. But if it's a decent amount and the person's just shoving, sometimes you'll just see it play out that way. And their mindset is they would rather see that person pushed off than try to isolate and get, just take the hand down on their own. So you got to keep an eye out for that. Oh. Pocket twos, low pocket pairs are actually kind of miserable in these kind of. I mean, they're kind of miserable in six maxes anyway. It's like, yeah, what are the Okay, so we're just not gonna talk about that hand. We didn't even need to talk about what were we doing. Pocket twos, stupid hand. I'm mad that I even won that hand. Yeah, not trying to steal yet. One more blind level, and we'll start worrying about blind play. Not gonna try to steal here either because we already know this guy uber likes to defend. So looks like we already got somebody taking care of that for us. So excuse me, easy fold. No reason to think about making button moves. People think the blinds are what makes you think the most in poker. I don't think it is. I think it's the dealer button. The dealer button makes you consider the most steals, the most like equity based calls pre-flop, and the most like why aren't I trying to squeeze with this hand, and then it also makes other players think the most too. I mean, it's just the best freaking hand. It's the best freaking position you can have. So, but some people are like, oh, you know, people love to bluff from the blinds, and people have to defend the blinds and all that. And it's like, yeah, you definitely have to think in the blinds for sure. But I think the dealer button is just the most decisions. Hopefully, somebody just snaps them off here. It'd be nice. It's not gonna be me. Yeah, it felt kind of weak. Don't be a heart. This game is cruel sometimes. Not really getting much on this table here. kind of bluey patooey. So far, this has been pretty standard. So you'll notice that yes, I am the big stack at the table, and I have been for a while. I don't need to be placing a whole lot of pressure yet. And plus, I've kind of been letting this guy take the role. No, thank you. Plus, I just haven't really gotten good hands for it. It's not that I'm exclusively trying to slow play, even though I have the big stack. It's just I just haven't really gotten very many good hands, and I'd rather watch the table for a while and see what I'm up against. Easy fold. We're just gonna smooth call. We're a little early to make the raise. With fives, with sevens plus, I would raise there, but up to sixes, I'll just call. So now is when we have to consider stealing blinds. I do not like stealing this guy's blind very much. We've already seen what he's willing to do when it's 10, 20 chips. So, how many people are we thinking we're gonna call here? Probably two more. So, yeah, we'll see a flop there. Well, there goes those odds. He probably 5 times out of 7 has an ace here, so we're drawing probably very thin. It's already been raised, not interested. Now, 20 cents into 81. Actually kind of close, but even if we hit, we're only getting 86 more cents. Not interested. Yeah, eights, that's good. He has a set of eights now. Oh, well, there's the 5. But watch this guy have a flush. Just watch it. Just watch. Watch what happens. Eights, full 4s. Yeah, good hand. I don't mind calling here. It's we're definitely getting good pot odds. This is a good hand for it. Could have squeezed, but still a little early to technically be considered a squeeze. So yeah, see now our hand's just garbage over here. Couldn't have known it was gonna run out that way, but when when one of your outs when you're drawing your set completes a flush draw, you gotta start thinking a little bit. It's like, man, am I really gonna end up with the best hand even if I do hit? So check. So my guess is either nobody has a heart or somebody flopped the flush. Oh man, this is just miserable. Garbage. This smells like a value bet with a heart. We will certainly see it though. We have to see if he's capable of making that play. We know he is, very likely. So, yeah, that's what he's doing. Okay, so 8-5 called from the blinds. Good to know. We did not have to pay him off there, but I kind of wanted to. I wanted to see it. It was only 100. It definitely smelled like value, but that's what I said it was. I knew it was, but I don't mind seeing it. What a run out. Probably just end this hand. Thank you. Deuce 7. Now you'll hear a lot of players say this is the worst hand in poker. You can correct them though, if you're playing 6-handed or less. Deuce 7 is not the worst hand in Hold'em, if you're playing 6-handed or less. Deuce 3 is. Why, you say? Because if you put Deuce 3 up against Deuce 7, what do you think is the dog? Oh, hold on, we got 2 spots to think about here. We're still gonna call with top pair. Yeah, it certainly feels like we're behind, but there's a decent chance we. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So Deuce 3 up against Deuce 7. Deuce 7 is ahead. right? So you're thinking, well, if deuce seven is the worst hand in poker, how can it be ahead of another hand? Well, that's because when you're playing when you're playing seven and more players at a table, um, the chances of it going down to just high card of being a deuce versus or a seven versus a three are very unlikely to make a difference in the winning hand. You win more by completing a straight or a flush than you do just by that high hand, so that actually matters more. Um, Six-handed, it can matter more often, so then deuce three becomes the worst hand in Hold'em. So wow your friends with that fact. Do the math, look it up, read about it. If you were ever sitting around confused, going, "Wait a minute, why is deuce three a dog against deuce seven if deuce seven is the worst hand in Hold'em?" I sure thought about it. It made me wonder, but that's why I looked it up. Now go out there and wow your friends. That's how you make friends at a poker table, is correct somebody about their deuce seven logic. Remember when we were the big stack at this table? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Easy fold. We're definitely getting closer to shove mode. We're not in shove mode yet. We can shove with in the right spot, but we're definitely not shoehorned into shoving here. We still have some play with our chip stack. I mean, it's still 1200, right? If somebody doubles us up, we're the chip stack. We're the chip leader. Not anymore. But see, now this is where things get really tight, right? Because now one more player loses out, we all get paid. So this is where things get interesting. And if you have the other guy's chip stack covered, you can get them to fold a lot of the times because they don't want to see the hand, they don't want to see the flop, they don't care. They'd rather just fold. Yeah, see? It doesn't really matter. If you have him covered, he can shove all in and still lose and actually be out versus me who will still have chips left. So it's good to be aware of that. I mean, you saw I just made that move with deuce seven and I was very confident that he was going to fold. But now that people are not playing very long for each blind level, the blinds are going to feel like they're going up very quickly. And you kind of got to get lucky if you're not the big stack at this point. Like, this guy doesn't need to worry about getting lucky. It'd be nice if he just snaps them off here. He can certainly afford it. Well, that's easy for us to get out of the way. All right. Let's end it. Here we go. And there you go, guys. That is how you cash in a double up. So we just made $5. And yes, we're going to play another one. Well, next time there is one. So anyway, that's what you got to do. That's how you cash in double ups. We're going to enter another one. We'll just play, play a couple, finish out the hour. This table is just, like I said, this is how we get our tournament buy-ins, and then we play our tournaments. Get the buy-ins, and then when you win the tournaments, you just skim the cream right off the top. Looks like this one's about to fire. We got another double up going. So let's get that. go. And again, so this is the exact same thing. Half of these players are probably the same ones, and we're gonna play the same way. We might not have as easy as beginning as last time though, so we're gonna have to make some moves at some point. So as you can see what was happening there at the end, people. So when you're near a bubble of any kind, especially in something like this where it's money or nothing, like in a satellite, people want to be the ones making the shove versus calling. Very rarely do you see the person uh, call the shove and not be stronger than the person that made the shove when it comes to these kind of bubbles. It's just very unlikely. People don't like to call the shoves, right? Because they're like, I'd rather wait till I'm the one strong enough to make the move. So usually, if somebody shoves and it gets called when you're right on the edge of the button, that guy's probably got the monster, and just like you saw happen there. So that's why I was able to make that move with Deuce 7, right? I had his chip stack covered, and by me making a bet, he knew basically his whole chip stack was getting in at that point, so he'd rather just fold and be the one making the shove versus being called by it because there's still a chance that you just take the hand down. So you can be pretty confident in making some moves when you're that close to a bubble like that. But you also kind of can sit back and think, well, if I have an okay chip stack and I'm not forced to make the move right now, can I wait to see if somebody else just wants to put somebody out? And that's exactly what happened. So it could have also been correct to also call that person's shove when so he shoves, he calls. I could have called as well because all I need to do is because I had his chip set covered, right? But this dude could have still bet me out of the pot and, just been basically kind of like, hey, if this guy doesn't win, at least I get some of your chips. But I could have just also tried to put him out. But my chip stack was kind of close to his, and I just didn't want to make the move. And luckily, he woke up with a better hand and put him out. So, yep. And we're back down to the beginning, back down to 1020. Just riding it out. If there is a kind of poker that you guys would like to see me play, just to see how I would cash in it or how I would try to um, play it, whether it's Omaha or um, like I'm doing these double and triple ups because somebody brought it up at the casino that I play at. They knew that I was playing on Ignition and they asked about the double and triple ups. They said they look fun. I was like, yeah, sure, I can play those. I used to play those a lot, and I don't mind showing how to play a few of them. So if you want to comment or message me, and say, hey, I'd like to see you play some Omaha or something like that, I'll definitely play it. Omaha for me personally is rough because the swings are so much wider in that game. Man, you can feel like a god for a while, and then you can just feel like just the world's freaking bitch, and just not like just lose so bad for so long. It's a very rough game, but it's certainly fun. I'll give it that. And then you have Big O, which is, Omaha and crack. But in case for those of you that don't know, Big O is the same as Omaha, only you're dealt 5 cards as opposed to 4. So yeah, you get dealt 5 cards, and there's 5 cards on the 5 community cards. But it's the same as Omaha. You have to play with 2 cards from your hand. So you know it's still interesting, but was worried you hit flop to set. Man, nothing worse than somebody hit flopping a set. Hit flopping a jip flopping. King 10, early position. How much do we hate that hand? A lot, I'll tell you that. Big blind, gotta walk. I haven't really seen many money making opportunities on this table, but hey, poker is a grind for a reason. Sometimes you just get a slow table. Sometimes you get slow action. I could be playing, you know, two more hands, two more tables right now, but I like being able to talk about the action and the plays and everything. So I think two is okay for right now, but we'll work on it. I might move on to grinding two tables while playing one tournament. That's probably going to be the optimal amount. So now we're like 99% the dog right now, but we would call a .1 cent bet. Point one. Um, raise and a call. No, thank you. Yeah, there was absolutely no bet anybody could make there. And one argument in poker is that being a good player means recognizing the spots where you can make a bet and take a pot down. But you also have to think, what are the odds that me not holding a diamond and the two other players not holding a diamond? What are the odds of that being true? Far worse than the scenario that just happened being plausible. My pair of aces actually being good. So for that small of a flop, if I bet, um, somebody who holds a diamond is calling anyway, and if nobody holds a diamond, my aces are probably still going to be good on the river. So on that flop, if I just check and somebody made a decently small bet, 5 cents, 10 cents, I would have called and then seen the turn and river. But if they don't make the bet till the turn of the river, till the diamond's already there, I just fold. Um, it just doesn't get us that much. There's no real value from betting that flop. We didn't even love our kicker that much. It was just ace nine, whatever. Everyone's shuffling the chips back and forth over here at the double up, which is fine. No real chip leader yet. So this is our turn to make a little move. We definitely don't have to yet. This is not a necessary move, but I don't mind doing it every once in a while. They need to know that we can at least play hands. So, and we represent a little bit more strength doing it here than here. So, and okay, we took it down fine. Now we bought an orbit. So yeah, these double up and triple ups are they're interesting. I can I can also play some triple ups on here. I might do that sometime, but I just kind of decided on double ups for right now. I'm not usually a huge fan of six maxes, um, but double ups I feel are somewhat decently good value. And obviously, it wouldn't make sense to play a double up on a nine-handed table, so. And eight-handed is just weird. Nobody wants to play eight-handed. Get up out of here. I didn't have to click the auto fold button there. It would have been more correct to just have clicked the fold button when it came around to me. But sometimes if I'm reading something else on my computer, then I autopilot a little bit. So that's how you win with eight deuce. For those of you that weren't paying attention, you kind of put your big blind out there, and then it's all about your posture. Basically, make them regret thinking about raising you. We're gonna raise back this this position bet here because we're likely the one with a better hand. We don't have to be, but it's just likely. Yeah, nice playing with you, buddy. Try again next year. Um, we definitely have to play this hand. You don't give up pocket pairs, especially strong pocket pairs or decently strong pocket pairs in these double and triple ups. If you lose out with it, that's fine. It's just you can't miss out. You can't miss out on these. We eventually want a chip stack that can survive an all in and a lose. No thank you. He got raised it there, so no thanks. So what I would like to have happen is for him to call and for us to flop quads. That would be the ideal scenario. Um, this is interesting. We're ahead of a decent amount of this board, and if he doesn't have a club, if he doesn't have a club, he'll likely fold here. So this is a bit different than what happened over here with the suited board against the two other players. There was a whole other player involved, which is just that many more opportunities for a club to exist. But we also weren't the pre-flop aggressor. So, uh, um, here I think he's representing a club, not a queen, actually. I can shove, but that doesn't really get us a whole lot. Now if he shoves here, I actually am gonna try to look like I'm value betting my club hitting. We could have read him wrong if maybe he did just have a queen. Him checking there is just a little bit weird. So I don't know. I might actually be the one ahead. Or well, yeah, he doesn't have a club. So you see what my thought process was there. I'm gonna try to walk through it here a little bit. Um, so think from his position, right? Um, he calls a raise pre-flop, and there's three. The cards are all suited out there, and he's not holding a club, right? Then when I bet, which is just representing a C bet, him raising is him acting like he has a club, right? So if I don't have a club, I'm folding. That's what I should be doing. But instead, it was just me thinking he doesn't have a queen. So when I call, now he realizes that wait a minute, this guy only called because he has a club in his hand. Sorry. And so when the club hits and he doesn't bet, he's basically acknowledging that, oh wow, no, you know what? I didn't have that. Sorry. He's basically acknowledging that, hey, you know, I actually didn't have a club, and you're likely the one ahead. And when he checks there, so then all I had to do was look like a value bet because my one good club did get there, and he has to fold. So I changed my read on him based on his action on that turn. At first, it looked like he had a club in his hand, but then when he checks, that club hitting is basically him showing, you know, hey, I'm scared. I didn't have a club, and now you're likely the one ahead. And he acknowledged that, even though I didn't have one. So that was us both kind of playing mind games back and forth there, and having position was super important there. The only reason I could make that bet and that move without having even a club in my hand was because of position. That is why position is so important in this game. I could not have made that move if I was first to act, if our positions were swapped there. So, very lucky that we had position and we were able to steal that because we were almost certainly up against a queen of some sort, possibly a very strong queen. Or, I mean, there's also a very weak club in his range, plays that exact same way. Not that exact same. Well, maybe even that exact same way, you could say. He could be saying, hey, I think there's a chance you don't have a club, and now my weak one. But he's basically representing the same thing, right? He's basically saying, no, I'm scared now. There's four clubs out there. I don't like my hand. You're likely the one ahead by me having called that flop, uh, that raise on the flop. So that's that mind game there a little bit. Um, Hopefully y'all caught that and I didn't ramble too much for no reason, but I just want you to be able to see those opportunities, right? I didn't have a whole lot of time to make that decision. I didn't have a whole lot of time to make that call, but that's how quickly you have to think and change your decision, right? Think, turn cards and river cards, they change board states, they really do. And they can change your reading on your opponent if they act differently. Um, he could have just as easily been slow playing an ace of clubs, I know, but that's why we didn't shove all in. We still had the fold button. If he had shoved over the top, 100% I would have folded. There's absolutely no way I would have called. But there was a decent chance we were ahead, and that bet was basically me trying to squeeze that value out. So, you know, I did not shove all in there. We've already seen him get out of line once. What are the odds of him doing it again? Hmm. We still have a decent chip stack. We just fold here. We can fold. If this was an MTT, a big tournament where chip stacks mattered a lot more, I could have easily made that call, but that wasn't the time for it. Not playing mind games again. I am going to try to steal again, though. This is a fine hand for trying to steal with. And if he plays back at us again, we know that he's really just trying to play games here, and not, So we might actually be. So this is a pretty good looking board for us. This is okay. We have live cards against a lot of things that hit that. We're just going to check back, though. Let's change things up a little bit here. Okay, see, now we have a scare card. Let's see if it works. That's disappointing. That makes our hand less believable and him very unlikely to fold. Anything he was calling with, like, because if he wasn't worried about the ace, he's still not worried about it unless he, flopped 8-6 or something. So we'll just check back. Yeah, he had a 10. He would have called if we bet on the river there. He would have called. You have to know when you have to know when they have a hand that won't believe you. I mean, he called when the ace hit. That means he's calling when another ace hits. Unless I just like shove or something, but that just looks really weak. A shove there, not a value bet. A value bet gets called, which is what I would make with an ace, and a shove just looks weak, and he just still calls. So, because the chance of us having an ace went down dramatically when that another ace hit. So we definitely have to start making moves here. We're gonna get blinded out. So, he had king 10. He definitely had an okay hand to defend the small blind with. So I'm not really putting him on any sort of out of line player. If somebody puts us all in, we will definitely call. You just have to start making moves like that with an ace in your hand. You don't want to get blinded out. And now I still have three other players covered with a shove, so which is important. You can't let aces go by you in these double and triple ups. Not very often. When it's when the action's been dead so far to you. And in these double and triple ups, there's a kind of an interesting dynamic where the later positions seem to incite more action from the small and big blinds defending than they might in a nine-handed game. So acting early. Oh wait, hold on. Oh yeah, hold on. We're definitely falling. That was a shove all in. Wow. For some reason, I read that amount wrong. I was thinking it was 122, which was obviously not even close. There was a comma in it. I don't know why I thought that. My brain was just like, you just got raised to 122. Like the blinds are 50, 100, right? What just happened? But yeah, there's a comma there. What was I thinking? Yeah, we could try to steal there. Not interested. Not with d7. We already know this guy plays back at us a lot, so there's no sense giving him our chips. So we have quads right now. They are all the different suits too, so he already raised though. We're fine just calling with 8s here. It is still a cash game. So hopefully this guy comes back over the top and we can shove. We love shoving with pocket 8s. It's totally a fine shove. This guy shoves. That represents a lot more strength than this guy. So alright, we're calling. Nice hand, man. Nice hand. Yeah, there's his 10. Game over. Yeah, we're shoving with 8s there 100% of the time. Yes, I would love to play the next available one. Yeah, we're not disappointed with that move. Disappointed with the results, but not with the move. We would do that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. No sense in playing for 3 cents with 2-7. So that was a fun tournament, actually. We got to be some good spots and make some good reads, but still ended up losing. But I'm not disappointed if I play there. That happens. You definitely don't win all your sit and goes. You definitely don't win all your double ups. We are going to fold there. So hopefully this puppy fires here. That would be nice. Sometime today would be nice. We are in another double up sit and go. We need 3 more players. And then I think that'll be it for tonight's session. Just playing a few double up sit and goes. And showing you what it's like to maintain a cash game that you're playing while you're grinding the sit and goes. We haven't seen any insane spots to make money, but we're ahead, so what more can you ask for? 2 and 5 cents does not make very much money. This guy's been raising a lot. If he hadn't called, I probably would have 3-bet, but somebody else already called. Now it's just not really worth playing. But this guy's been making just a lot of... To me, feels like he's playing a lot of hands, and I wouldn't mind raising him back there. Here we go. We're getting some more players in the sit and go. About ready to fire. I think. Now that we have more attention to pay to this table, we could think a little bit more about our hands, but we haven't been given the right spot yet, so it's still been folding. Alright, it fired. Get the screens up for us. Here we go. Off to the races. Not interested. No, thank you. Um. So in that hand that we lost there at the end, we would have been much happier with the seat here, making the putting us all in versus this one. We knew if that one put us all in, he was way stronger than this one. Disappointing, but we definitely had 0 folds in that spot. We could not fold there. And even ace 10 was not that insane of a hand. He flopped his 10. Don't mind that call at all. Because if we had won, we would have had what 2,200, 2,300 in chips. So, and if for the rest of my life, if every time I'm in that exact spot against 2 overcards, I'm gonna win more than I'm gonna lose. So you can be confident in your ability, in those kind of reads. That hey, they beat you. That happens. It's poker. You were still right to make that move. You were still ahead. Of course, he shows over queen. He throws over queens. We were behind pre-flop, but it doesn't mean that our call in that spot was incorrect. We had too much invested, and we had to. We wanted folds. I mean, actually, we did want a call, but the rest fold. The other one folded. If we only make it 250, they might both call, and then we lose that flop. But we wanted either both of them to fold or just one call. So we had to be pretty polarized, and he certainly had the spot to put us all in. So still making the slow grind over here. I think a lot of people, when they think of poker, they just think of winning big, massive pots and making hundreds and thousands of dollars. And that certainly happens. But, man, when you're grinding online poker, a lot of it is just this. This is a very large percentage and amount of poker. Is this. A lot of folding and a lot of very thin value. For some people. Some people, man, love action, love playing lots of hands, but I think the more tables you play, along with the more action you play, the worse the less correct your moves become because you're spending less time reading players and betting patterns and stuff, and more just playing for the thrill. Like on this, against this guy, I actually think my 2 jacks is beaten. Yep. See, I knew I thought I was behind there. I would have been. And even though I'm not talking about the hand, even though I'm not really actively involved in the hand, I pay attention. I know what players do, what their betting patterns are like, and I could tell I would have lost that hand, even though flopping 2 pair. I don't think my hand would have been good. And it turns out I was right. But if I was playing 5 tables, I couldn't have made that read. I couldn't have been like, no, that dude doesn't make that move like that. Maybe my 2 pair is still good, and I would have paid him off. So, if I was somebody just playing a bunch of tables and playing a lot of action, been like, man, I flopped 2 pair. This is my hand. But I pay attention. I watch how people bet and how they play, and when things get out of line, I'm usually pretty good at figuring that out and saying, oh. Okay, so let's watch this hand now. Jacks and kings. Here we go. There's that jack. What a dirty game. What a dirty game. Something, something, ignition's rigged, something, something. Nobody knows what this means, by the way. I just say it. Joke. High wind hand. High, heavy, heavy wind handed. Heavy wet handed. No idea. I just say it because it's stupid. Or a flop 3 of a kind. That's a decent hand in this game. It's decent. But I still lose to the flush draw. If it hits. And I don't vote up. There's that expert poker lesson for those interested. So like I said, this dude is just freaking raised city house, but obviously kings. We don't want to play with too many people, so we're probably just taking this down. We're over betting. Likely everybody just folds here, but if number 5 here just wants to shove his whole chip stack in and be a boss, we love it. So that's kind of what I'm hoping. I'm either inciting him to just like shove and be an idiot, or just everybody folds and we just take 40 cents, 30, 40 cents basically. But I don't care if everybody folds. It's fine. We only want one color anyway, and it's not like everybody's gonna call for 60 cents. Yeah, we're fine taking that as is. We either wanted somebody to shove over the top or just. So, one of the best things that can happen to you in poker is to like bet big, like represent a big hand, and then get another nutty hand the very next hand because they never want to believe you twice, just never. Good squeeze play here, very likely. So now we're gonna do the same thing, right? Because now they think it's very unlikely that we have a nutty hand again, and now they might play back at us. So this is you take full advantage of these kind of spots. If you just slow play it, it sends off so many fewer alarm bells. Right now they're just thinking this freaking doofus just decided, hey man, I'm either gonna double up my money or go home or something, and now he's kind of playing crazy. They hardly ever believe you twice in a row. They can. They could easily both fold here, but what I'm hoping for is somebody to not believe me and to come over the top there. Yeah, well, it happens. Aces? No. Okay. That is not aces. Easy fold. We'll give him a little. Nobody knows what this means. It's like the most cryptic thing ever. What is it? What is he saying? This means he had 2 white hearts? What is it? Like, what does it mean? It's so stupid. I like doing stupid things. Poker's stupid. It's not stupid. I love poker. And then we get queens over here. Best case scenario is we get one of these 2 doofuses stacks. Worst case scenario is we get this guy's stack. Well, no, okay. Correction. Best case scenario is everybody calls and we flop quads and we take everybody's chip stack. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is this guy calls and there's an ace on the flop. Literally exactly that. Gosh. But my rule of pocket pairs is 1 overcard. We don't get scared. As far as c betting goes, when it comes to calling, it's so likely he's ahead, but we get so much value out of a queen. If we spike, he pays us off so often. Yeah, we call once. Well, now we have tens for out, so now we have tens and queens. But yeah. Well, he could have had ace jack, so he could have checked back because he has a jack. So we're not betting into him here. Yeah, we're actually. Thank you. So you see my point there, or my reasoning there? He he looked like a 9 on that flop, or sorry, he looked like an ace on that flop, and then when the turn comes to jack, that smells more like ace jack than anything else. So me betting there, if he doesn't have an ace, we're winning the hand anyway. The pot was still plenty big. So if I bet there, he's only calling if he now has two pair, in which case he might just be shoving, or he had a set of jacks or something. But there was no point in me betting. This is where people need to understand the whole the only thing that calls you is a better hand, and any worse hand just folds. He was already losing to the ace, so a jack coming doesn't like change his hand any. If he was losing before, he's still losing when the jack hits. So me betting there doesn't add any sort of value to my hand. Same with the river. It's the jack is still out there. It either improved his hand or it didn't. Which technically it did improve his hand, just not enough to beat us, but we're fine checking that back. If we bet there, maybe he would have called once because he did hit his jack at that point, but it's far more likely that he was the one ahead, not us, with an ace on that board. So that's why we didn't try to squeeze more value out there. It was far more likely that we were behind than ahead. As I'm sure most of you can see, this is me preaching to the choir 99.9% of the time. But hey, we're here to talk about poker. I can't talk about things that don't happen. I can only talk about things that do, and my reasoning and my reads. So just to make sure that they're clear, I talk about them. Most of you understand how these concepts work. Some of you are thinking levels above me. That's fine. We're not defending with a weak ace here. If he hadn't have made that move and this was just a blind shove, we might have called with ace high. But with him already in the hand, we already knew it was probably getting called, so there's just no point. And I mean, look, he would have got it straight anyway. Doesn't really matter. Poker is a cruel game sometimes. I give a lot of respect to chips coming out of this corner, so we'll let that go. I could probably steal this pot by making a bet. It just this seems like a really weird board for everyone's play so far, but well, I'd much rather just see what he wants to do. Yeah, now we're probably just gonna steal this pot. Maybe. Oh, okay. What? Did you pick up a flush draw? That's cute. I'm not interested anymore. I only wanted it if I could just bet 20 cents and take the pot down. Who got diamond? Who got diamond? I mean, this guy could have been slow playing a 6-2, but that's less likely than. Oh, the guy got diamond? Oh, look at that one. Had three fours. This dude almost certainly had diamonds. Almost certainly. That'd have been a weird way to slow play your trips because it's like the flush finish. Like, what are you worried about? If not the flush. I don't know. I'd already clicked fold on that hand. But, again, it's the 2 5-cent cash game. It's not the WSOP main event. don't have to worry about defending our blinds. You do sometimes. It's not that spot. So as you can see, like as of right now, we are essentially even, right? Because we've paid $5 in, got $5 out, and paid $5 in to play this, plus the 25-cent juice on both of them, so 50 cents. So we're really only down 50 cents on the double and triple ups, and we're up $1.22. So we're up 72 cents right now. It's been a little bit over an hour, I think, at this point, and we can still win or lose this tournament. This is kind of what's gonna be the decision of whether this is a positive session or a losing session. But not all my sessions are gonna be winning sessions. I'm gonna have losing ones. What are you gonna do? You're gonna keep grinding because that's poker. You don't have nothing but winning sessions, and if all I do is upload winning sessions, people aren't gonna believe that these are genuine. It's gonna look like I'm cherry picking the sessions I upload, which I'm not. If I decide I'm gonna upload a session, I'm gonna upload it. If I make bad plays, I'm gonna show it. So, but I've been fine with my moves in these sit and goes. So, yep, 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 yep. Would have been nice to have been seat 5 with all these chips out there with Jack 10 as opposed to under the gun. Disappointing, but unavoidable. We can't choose what spot we're in when we get what cards. We can wish, but that's about it. Watch the 9 just spike on that turn. Just watch it. Make me want to punch my freaking computer screen. I've never raged playing online poker except once. And that was maybe 5 spots from the money in a pretty big tournament that I've been playing for a pretty long time. And I got it in with pocket aces and got called by something stupid. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like 10-8. And I lost. And all I did was throw my mouse on the ground and knock the battery out of it. Other than that, I don't rage. And that was pretty early on. That was before I'd, been sucked out on way worse than that. Getting sucked out on that is better than getting sucked out against by like ace king or something. Pocket kings. Okay, so the 9 comes on the river. Delicious, but damn, I had a royal flush draw. LOL. Wow, that deserves an HWH if I ever heard one. My guess is when I first saw this, it was somebody missing the E key and hit the W. But it's just for some reason, the people that were in chat that night thought it was so funny and so weird that I've just been doing it ever since. And it's so stupid. Sometimes I still get people going, "What the hell does that mean?" But most people just ignore the chat box anyway. Yeah, that would have been a nice little pot to win, but we already got 5 seed about to go out. Which means we're the next in line for chip stack wise, so we're not exactly in frivolous chips mode. A walk here would be cute.